There we go. Mayor, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for February 20th, 2025, to order at 7:11 p.m. On roll call, we have Councilmembers Fasolo,
Here.
Golombek, Sampson,
Here.
Sheridan,
Here.
Troisi,
Here.
Council President Pellegrin,
Here.
Mayor Coletti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everybody here this evening. Sorry we're a little late, but we got pushed back. Meeting went a little longer than we anticipated. So let's get started. Everybody please rise for our prayer and flag salute. Oh God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting, which we entrust in your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and implant therein a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you and our neighbors. Guide us in our deliberations so that our decisions will always please you and bring your peace and happiness to our community. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey require at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now, therefore, be advised that the meeting and its requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing a special notice in the Herald News and the Record, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within the municipal building. Also by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted and transmitted on January 3rd, 2025, and published on January 8th, 2025.
First up, we have approval of minutes. We have the January 2nd, 2025 reorganization meeting, the January 9th, 2025 work session, and the January 9th, 2025 executive session.
Motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
First by Council President Pellegrin, second by Councilman Fasolo. On roll call, we have Councilmembers Fasolo,
Yes.
Golombek,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Troisi,
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin.
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Councilwoman Terry Sheridan for our introduction of our Veterans Liaison.
Thank you. What this is the Elmwood Park, we're going to have an Elmwood Park Veterans Alliance. I have a young man that served in the service. He knows first class on being in the service, coming home to a different world, and I just want to introduce him to everybody. Any veteran that needs assistance, needs help, needs somebody to talk to, this is the man we got. And it's Frank Doc. Can you come up and just introduce yourself a little bit on the mic, please? And also Shadow. Mike, can we get Shadow an email?
Hold on,
Turn
Doc.
it
We're
on.
going to get your mic.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So my name is Frank Shoup. I'm an Army combat medic veteran. I served in Iraq. For the last 7 years, I've been managing a nonprofit called the New Jersey Veterans Network. We go out, we help veterans, we bring resources to veterans. Resources to veterans is pretty much my specialty. I have a network of different programs that I could bring on to help veterans when they're in need. Whether it's someone who's homeless, we can get them off of the street, we can get them into a hotel room. As a matter of fact, that happened last year here in Elmwood Park. The chief helped me out with that, and Councilwoman Sheridan helped me out with that. We were able to get a veteran directly off the street and homed and start his life back over. There are a couple of veterans who need assistance through Elmwood Park that I've worked with in the past, but I've helped a couple of hundred veterans over the last 7 years. A specialty of mine is doing veteran events. We actually have one coming up this Sunday over at the Elmwood Park VFW. We'll have veterans from different areas coming in, And we'll have free clothing, free jackets, free winter wear, free groceries, whatever someone might need, we'll have there in order to help with veterans. It's an easy way to bring veterans out in a nice, comfortable atmosphere. So if you have a veteran who's in distress, understand sometimes we've spent our military career going to parades and being proud of ourselves. It's very difficult to ask for help. So in an atmosphere like that, it's a lot easier to go over to especially another veteran and ask for help. I've seen the great things this town has done. I've worked with a lot of you guys here on the council, and you guys know how much I love this town. And I love the things that are happening in this town. I'm just very excited about being a part of that. So thank you for allowing that.
So basically, Doc, you're becoming our liaison from Elmwood Park
Yes, sir.
to the organization. Yes,
I hope so.
that's basically what we're doing this evening, right? That's
Yeah,
right?
yes, it's basically, yeah. He does have a email address for any of the veterans in Elmwood Park. He does have a cell phone. Feel free to reach out, no matter what it is. If you just want to say hello, if you want to hang out with Shadow, this is what this man is here for, to help all the veterans in Elmwood Park. So please, don't hesitate. Call if you need him.
I know basically I'd be preaching to the choir, but for those of you that don't know, when we started out some 4 years ago with the monument, the Veterans Memorial Monument to the Vietnam soldier, Doc jumped on board real quick, and he said, Mayor, whatever you need, I'm at your disposal. And he did a lot for us to bring it to fruition. He's all veteran. What you're seeing, that man, his whole life is dedicated to the veterans and to the United States of America, ultimately. And we thank you for that. We're glad to have you aboard. We couldn't have probably picked a better liaison. Council, any comments? Would like to say a few words to the doc? Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Doc. Just want to acknowledge that your good, strong work. I appreciate, just this past Sunday, we saw you at the Elks at the breakfast, and you participated with us and helped the veterans that we already had there. I really appreciate that. I see you and your adventures with Doc and Shadow on Facebook, and it's good to see that people are really going, you are really going above and beyond to help people in need who served our country nobly. Doc, thank you.
Congratulations on your upcoming appointment as the liaison. I'm glad we have you here in Elmwood Park. I think it's a lot easier for veterans and anybody in need to ask somebody for help when they see a familiar face, right? So you being around the area, I know you see a lot in Garfield as well with Mr. Braish and stuff like that. So when you see a familiar face, you're more inclined to ask for help. So it's great that we have you here in Elmwood Park. Thanks.
Mr. Gollenbeck.
Thank you, sir, for taking this on. I think we tried this in the past with some mixed results, but based on your track record, everything that's going on here, there's no doubt that it's really going to work this time. And if there's anything more we need to do to help you, don't be shy to ask.
Thank you.
Doc, congratulations on your appointment. I know that you're the right person for this position. First, I want to thank you for your service to the country, and I would also like to thank you for your service to the veterans. I see you out and about all the time, whether it's a movie night to get the guys out or distributing toiletries, needed toiletries. So I just want to thank you, and I look forward to working with you and Shadow.
Thank you, Pam.
Tara?
Thank you, Mayor. Doc, thank you for everything. I know when I first asked you, I didn't even get it out of my mouth, and you're like, Terry, whatever I can do, I'll help. So thank you very much, and if you need anything else, we're all here for you. The chief's more than happy to help out. Whatever you need to make this work, we're behind you. Thank you.
Lorraine?
Yes, I just want to say congratulations on your appointment and really thank you from the bottom of our hearts for what you're doing for the community and our veterans. Thank you for your service. I've been following you on Facebook and I see on a daily basis you're here with food, you're there, you're everywhere, you and Shadow. Like, all you have to do is see him on Facebook, and he's at a different place every day doing something for those in need. And that's very commendable. And I really, from the bottom of our hearts, like everyone else has said, we can't thank you enough. And the Residents Assistance Program, I know a couple times you had said if you have people, they're always welcome to come to our pantry also. You just have to make a phone call to us. We already have a couple veterans from town coming there, so they just have to make an appointment with Mrs. Fava, and we're happy to help them also.
Nice.
Whatever you need, so thank you very much.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Mr. Foligno?
Mayor, I see Doc twice a week at our morning training. He comes and participates in, we have a boxing class that the police department does for camaraderie, for physical, mental, and emotional health and support for the guys. And Doc has been part of that, and he shows up very regularly, and he does a great job. We also did a boxing class for a bunch of veterans not too long ago. So that invitation is still open if you want to do that again. Welcome to the team. We know each other well, and anything I can do to help and support, you know how to find me.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you, sir.
As you can see, Doc, you got complete cooperation from this mayor and council, and our residents too. So we all just happen to really appreciate our veterans and what they've done for us, and are continuing to do for us. So I guess when you leave here today, you know the door's open at any time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Next up, we have ordinances on first reading. Resolution R-74-25, introduce ordinance number 25-03 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance to Fix the Salary, Wage, and Compensation of the Officers, Employees, and Servants of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey for the year 2025, be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, March 20th, 2025, at 7:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law."
Thank you. Mr. Foligno, any comments on this?
Mayor, it's our annual salary ordinance. Customarily, our employees get the cost of living raise, and that's reflected in this ordinance, and it's, we do this annually.
Thank you. May I have a motion on the ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Council President Pellegrin, second by Councilman Fasolo. On roll call, we have Council Members Fasolo,
Yes.
Golombek,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Choisy,
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, we have Resolution R-75-25, introduce ordinance number 25-04 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Amending Borough Code Section 7-37.3, Regulation for the Movement and Parking of Traffic on All Other Private Property to allow for Title 39 enforcement at 41 Slater Drive and the adjacent access easement," be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, March 20th, 2025, at 7:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk, being she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Mr. Foligno, break this down, please.
Yes, Mayor. So on Slater Drive, there's the Amazon building, and across from it, in between, there's an easement for 41 Slater Drive. We found that tractor trailers have found that as their new home to park their rigs for extended periods. And in order to enforce the parking regulations there, we need to have this ordinance passed that gives us the authority to do so, because most of that stuff's not enforceable on private property or easements.
I guess they're going to have to go to the Bendig Steiner now, right? It's been there a long time for those truckers, right?
And the property owners have requested this.
Okay. All right, may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Any discussion? Call the roll.
First by Council President Pellegrin, second by Councilman Golombek. On roll call, we have Council Members Fasolo,
Yes.
Golombek, Sampson,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Choisy,
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-76-25, introduced ordinance number 25-05 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to Authorize the Undertaking of Streetscape Improvements to Mola Boulevard, Phase 2 from Phillip Avenue to Broadway, and by and for the Borough of Elmwood Park and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,010,000 to pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, March 20th, 2025, at 7:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Mr. Goldenbeck, would you mind breaking this down for us? I know this is your
Sure,
baby.
Mayor, sure, Mayor. It's good news because we're like floating the bond for the second phase of the lighting project, but unfortunately, we found out at the last work session that because it's a federal grant, these things do take time. So it doesn't look like the action on phase 2 of the boulevard, Phillip to Broadway, will start until 2026. But nonetheless, we're doing our part to move it forward. But I'll just add to that that there is another section that the late Congressman Pasquarello got us $750,000 for. That's the section of Market Street, to finish Market Street from the CVS to the Saddlebrook border. It's a little bit of a different situation, so we're pushing from our end as fast as possible to get that money in hand and maybe get that project going this year. So it's moving, just certain things we don't control. Thank you, Mayor.
Government works in very slow ways. Okay. May I have a motion on the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Council President Pellegrin, second by Councilman Fasolo. On roll call, we have Council members Fasolo,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Troisi,
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now moving on to our ordinances on second reading. We have Resolution R-77-25, introduced ordinance number 25-01 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to establish the Water Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park, Bergen County, New Jersey, to fix the rates and prices to be charged for the use of water and establish rules and regulations for the distribution, supply, use, and protection of said water, and penalties for the violation of certain said rules and regulations, was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, and that further consideration of this ordinance will be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to establish the Water Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park, Bergen County, New Jersey, to fix the rates and prices to be charged for the use of water and establish rules and regulations for the distribution, supply, use, and protection of said water, and penalties for the violation of certain said rules and regulations, passed on final reading.
May I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
Anyone from the public here to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance alone?
Yeah.
If not, I'll close the public portion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table this, was requested by the department head.
Okay, we have a motion on the table here to table.
Okay,
To table.
okay,
We need 2 votes for that,
yes.
and there's no discussion with the tabling motion.
Which one is this?
This is R-77-25.
Who is the department head? Okay. I'm good.
All we need is
I'm gonna
2 to move.
I'm gonna vote. Yep. So it's tabled by Council President Pellegrin and second by Councilwoman Troisi. So I'm gonna, okay, to do the roll call?
You certainly can.
Okay. We have Councilmembers Fasolo,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Troisi,
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries for this ordinance to be tabled. Next, we have Resolution R-78-25, introduced ordinance number 25-02 on second reading, Whereas a public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Repealing and Replacing Borough Code Sections 2-32.1 to 2-32.8 and amending and supplementing Ordinance 21-15 entitled, "An Ordinance to Fix the Salary, Wage, and Compensation of the Officers, Employees, and Servants of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey for the year 2023 regarding Department of Public Works leadership," was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, February 6, 2025, and that further consideration of this ordinance will be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Repealing and Replacing Borough Code Sections 2-32.1 to 2-32.8 and amending and supplementing Ordinance 21-15 entitled, "An Ordinance to Fix the Salary, Wage, and Compensation of the Officers, Employees, and Servants of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey for the year 2023 regarding Department of Public Works leadership," passed on final reading.
Mike, this is just basically setting the chain of command with the DPW. Am I correct with that?
Chain of command, as well as we added a position, department head, and worked out some of the compensation.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open to the public on this ordinance and this ordinance alone?
So move.
Anyone from the public here to speak on this ordinance? If not, I will close the public portion. May I have a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Second.
Okay.
Call the roll, please.
First by Council President Pellegrin, second by Councilman Fasolo. On roll call, we have Councilmembers Fasolo,
Yes.
Golubek, Sampson,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Choisey,
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to our consent agenda, we have the following resolutions. R-79-25, approval of payroll. R-80-25, approval of bills list. R-81-25, resolution authorizing tax exemption for disabled veteran, 263 Corey Lane, AKA Block 1105, Lot 1.263. R-82-25, resolution to refund tax exempt veteran. R-83-25, resolution to refund tax exempt veteran. R-84-25, resolution to refund overpayment. R-85-25, resolution to refund overpayment. R-86-25, resolution to refund added assessment adjustment. R-87-25, resolution to refund 22 Gull Avenue. R-88-25, authorized building department refund. R-89-25, appointment of part-time dispatcher, police department, Brendan Blanchfield. R-90-25, appointment of part-time dispatcher, police department, Carlo 2. R-91-25, resolution for a mechanics helper stipend. R-92-25, authorized retirement payout, Department of Public Works. R-93-25, approve Elmwood Park Fire Department stipend program, fourth quarter compensation. R-94-25, authorizing the mayor to execute a shared service agreement with Northwest Bergen County Utilities Authority TV inspection services. R-95-25, authorizing the mayor to execute a shared service agreement with the Northwest Bergen County Utilities Authority jetting services. R-96-25, adopting a change to an existing deferred compensation plan. R-97-25, elected officials' participation at public meetings using electronic device. R-98-25, appointment of auxiliary member. And R-99-25, resolution to approve the consent agenda.
Wow, you got through that. May I have a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Council President Pellegrin, second by Councilman Fasolo. On roll call, we have Council Members Fasolo,
The second was by Councilman Sampson.
Sorry, ears are off. First by Council President Pellegrin, second by Councilman Sampson. On roll call, we have Council Members Fasolo,
I'm going to recuse on 93-25 and 98-25, and I'm going to vote no on 97-25. Yes to the rest.
okay? Golubek,
I vote yes.
okay? Sampson,
I vote yes.
Sheridan? Yes. Choisey?
I'm going to recuse from R-89-25, R-93-25, and R-98-25.
Yes to the rest?
Oh, yes to the rest, I'm sorry.
Okay. And Council President Pellegrin?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on to departmental reports. We have the Board of Health meeting minutes from December 9th, 2024, and the Library Board meeting minutes from December 16th, 2024.
Motion to accept. Discussion? All in favor?
Okay, Mayor, this concludes my portion of the meeting. I will turn it over to you for council reports.
Mr. Fasolo.
Progress, Mayor.
Mr. Gullenbeck?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one update. I don't know whether all the residents and everyone on the council, everyone's aware. We had a little bit of a shakeup in our legislative delegation that represents Elmwood Park. State Senator Nellie Poe went to Congress. Assemblyman Benji Wimberly fought out a win against his counterpart, Assemblywoman Sumter, to become our new state senator. So that went down a few weeks ago. So Mr. Wimberly is now our state senator, Ward 40, New Jersey. When he moved up to the Senate, there was a backfilling of the assembly seat, and that went to Councilman Al Abdelaziz from Patterson, who is now Assemblyman Abdelaziz. Obviously, Benji Wimberly is no stranger to us, having represented us, but Assemblyman Abdelaziz is new to us. I've been in touch with him. I know him prior to this, and he's looking forward to coming in to maybe to a work session, introducing himself for a couple of minutes in the near future. So maybe we could set that up for March. And he also mentioned to me, I was on the phone with him today, that these assembly people, senators, can put direct requests in for the budget, direct requests, direct resolutions that this town is looking for this, which was really interesting because we've always been asked what we want, but we've never been asked that direct question. And he committed that he would like to submit a resolution strictly for Elmwood Park, so that's something we'll have to talk as a mayor and council. It may not end up in the final budget, it's all about negotiation, but the thought counts, and I appreciate it. So I look forward to setting that up and getting us all acquainted with our new representatives.
Well, that's excellent,
Yeah.
we should move on that. What's happening with Sumter? I read something in the paper today.
Assemblywoman Sumter, she's finishing out her term, the year, but she announced she's not seeking re-election. So, the party will pick someone, to run in the primary, but she still represents us through the end of the year. So even if they name someone to run, they're not in any capacity until they win.
I
So
liked her, it's a shame.
yeah, well, it's tough.
Yeah.
She put her hat in for Congress. The state Senate convention was decided by one vote. It was 87 to 86.
And who were the two in contention?
Wimberly and Sumter for the Senate seat.
Wow.
So she lost it by a vote, and I don't know. She just made the decision this week, so it is what it is.
Interesting.
But good lady, she's done by us, well by us. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Sampson?
Yes, good evening. On behalf of the planning board liaison, we had our last meeting on the 22nd, I believe it was, Wednesday the 12th. And we approved yet another business that's coming to Market Street next to M&M Liquors. That's going to be a nail shop there. And that's just further proof of the progress that we're doing as our borough flourishes with new businesses and welcoming to our borough, which is always good to see. Attended Bowling with the Blue, Chief, on Thursday the 13th. I sent you some pictures. It was an outstanding event, a great interaction there. Senior Valentine's Day, again, at the rec center was another great job by Chris Cobb and the crew and the Chiefs crew. And of course, Elmwood Park Strongest has always got part of that, or DPW. And that segues into the fantastic job they did with these relatively minor snow events we had, but they're out there keeping the borough open, keeping the streets passable. And thankfully, we didn't get that big storm that was forecast for today initially. Everything I see, our borough's in great shape, moving forward and getting stronger. God bless us, God bless our borough, and no further report.
Yeah, the Valentine's Day for the seniors, it was kind of unique. We had a nice crowd there, say 75 at least.
Yeah, again, with the weather, it was cold.
Yeah.
There was a forecast for inclement weather, and I also forgot to mention that it was today. If anybody opened up their community news today, we're on the front cover of the community news. It's not the Pulitzer Prize winning edition for MLB.
Oh, good.
MLB's on the front page of the community news. It was in, I don't want to say national news, but it was certainly regional news. The networks had it last week. And again, strength.
Damn the torpedoes and full steam ahead.
There you go.
Thank you, Eric. Pam?
The Board of Ed update, the weather continues to cause some setbacks in the construction. They are probably a little more than a couple of months delayed. They're probably looking at like a January 2026 for pre-K. It'll keep us posted on that. I don't know if they'll be able to like make up any ground, maybe, I don't know. Opening day for both softball and Little League will be April 5th, so Mayor and Council and Chief are invited, so please mark your calendars. Softball is looking for coaches in 3 of the age divisions, kindergarten through 2nd, 5th and 6th, and 7th through 9th. We had a record response to softball registrations from the girls in the borough. They have 139 players registered with 12, possibly 13 teams, up from 9 teams last year, up from 6 teams the previous year. So in 2 years, we've more than doubled.
Well, that's because you're there and Terry's there, right?
Yeah. If anybody is interested in coaching, they can go to epsoftball.com. And Little League is also looking for coaches. They're looking for coaches for their T-ball division. This is pre-K through kindergarten. They also had a successful year of signups. They have 159 players with 13, possibly 14 teams. So it's going to be a busy spring.
So, Pam, what do you credit that to? A better recruiting system, or the town is just a cycle where the population is greater?
I do think that a lot of it has to do with, we've got some amazing parents that have done things with social media advertising and some improvements to the website and stuff like that. And I think it just made it, it reached more people. We also put up signs at all of the schools now, like on the school property, with a QR code. We're just making things easier, right? In years past, people would have to, there'd be assigned days where you went to the rec center and you signed up in person and you wrote a check. And sometimes parents can't always get to everything, right? So I think making the signups convenient and the outreach is what contributed to it. And then, of course, the girls came back from last year. So that means they had a great time. That's the most important thing.
They can't do anything without them.
This is true. This is true.
So
But
it's-
we do need coaches, so this is my plea.
So it's a
my appeal.
combination of all these little things you put together, and the program has grown.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. Anything else, Pam?
Progress, Mayor.
Councilwoman Sheridan?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to reach out to the DPW for the storm on February 9th, which was also Super Bowl Sunday. The roads were great. I actually went to work, and I don't drive in snow. But everything worked out good. I'm sure everybody had a good time as far as Super Bowl went. I'm sure everybody made it home safe, and I just want to give a big shout out to the DPW. The seniors Valentine, it was the smaller group. I think she said she only had like 120 instead of 170. But everybody had a good time. Everybody was dancing around. It was fun. Christine always does a great job. I want to give a shout out to her. And Doc, I just want to say thank you again. He does have an email. There is a phone number if anyone needs it or wants the email. Just give me or give one of us. We all, I'm sure, have it. And Doc, thank you again. And okay, all right. So that's it. Progress, Mayor.
Now, Tara, with the DPW, is it me or these 3 storms we had, they were right on top of them.
Yes, they were.
We really had an excellent next day, so to speak.
Yeah, we're in transition with the new management and everything going on, and I think it's working out great. Knock on wood. I think we picked a good guy, to take over for Scott when he leaves, and everybody's working together. Everybody's coming together like Elmwood Park always does, and we all work it together. I mean, the chief did a good job too. Can't
Yeah, I was
leave
gonna
him
say,
out.
Yeah, we
You
can't
know,
forget the
and-
police force, right?
we all work together and we get it done, and that's all that counts.
All right.
As long as at the end, it's done deal.
Thank you. Council President?
Yes, good evening, everyone. A couple of things. My Board of Health update, they had their meeting on February 10th. Much discussion was had on the 5th Annual Celebrate Seniors event. Save the date, October 4th, 2025. Many more details to come in the next few months. The rabies clinics for dogs and cats are going to be, their spring one will be May 14th, 2025, and the fall clinic will be November 12th, 2025. Location, Firehouse Number 4 on Mola Boulevard, and the time will be 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Their next meeting will be Monday, March 10th at 7 p.m., location Borough Hall. Police update, bowling with our Elmwood Park PD on February 13th was a great community event. It was a fun night for all. Thank you to all our officers for making the night very special for all of our residents. The next bowling event will be this Saturday, February 22nd, for children ages 8 to 17, time 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Children's ages 8 to 17, location Parkway Lanes in Elmwood Park. There's no cost to bowl, and there will be free food and beverages. To sign up, go to the Recreation Community Pass. Our Elmwood PD will be holding its annual Youth Police Academy from Monday, August 18th, 2025 to August 29th. Enrollment is now open. The deadline to enroll is July 18th. You must register through Community Pass, and there will be 150 spots available, so sign up as soon as possible, and there is no charge for the academy. On Saturday, March 1st, there will be a Ramadan celebration ceremony. The time will be 4:45 p.m., location Mola Boulevard and Market Street. Council Corner update. Council Corner with myself and Councilwoman Sheridan will be held on Saturday, March 1st at 1 p.m. Location Borough Hall in the all-purpose room. The guest speaker will be Chief Feligno. Light refreshments will be served. And then lastly, the new Elmwood Park Chamber of Commerce had their meeting Tuesday night. Much discussion was had on events planned for the 2025 year. Once dates and events are confirmed, I will let everybody know. And for more information, you can go to their email at elmwoodparkchamber.org, or you can call 551-500-7810, and their next meeting will be held March 18th at 6:30 p.m. at our local VFW. Thank you, Mayor. Progress.
Thank you. I'd just like to make mention that this is the Black History Month, and we want to thank and congratulate those who have participated in the last 250 years in making this a better country for all of us. This is a diverse country. It's one that maybe 100 years ago there was prejudice that there shouldn't have been. We've worked away from that. We will continue to work away from that. One of the great leaders there, Martin Luther King, his quote to me is profound, and when we think about it, is don't judge a man by the color of his skin, but by the contents of his character. Think about that for a moment. And I think that says it all. Moving along. May I have a motion to open the floor to the public? I know you've been dying to get up here, so. We had one over here?
So move.
Okay. Anyone from the public here to speak?
I just came here to listen. I couldn't hold myself. Could someone explain to me the ordinance
And-
25-01?
No, take them, there you go,
Can
thank
someone
you.
explain the ordinance 25-01?
What's the matter?
What I'm reading at the last part,
She need her name? I'm sorry, Lenore, go ahead.
what I'm reading at the last part is that the minimum quarterly bill for metered service shall be a service charge to, I'm guessing, us as consumers of 5,000 gallons per quarter. That if you exceed 5,000 gallons of water, this town is going to bill us $7.57 for every 1,000 gallons over the 5,000 gallons. Is that correct?
Mr. Foligno, do you have any,
This was tabled, Mayor. I don't have any information on that. I would have to get that from the State Valley and/or our water people here.
do you want that writing in, do you want that request in writing, Mr. Foligno, that she's making?
I think the question could be answered when the ordinance is reintroduced, because I don't know what changes they're going to make to it. So I don't want to speak on anything that's in this one, because I'm not sure what changes are going to be made, Mayor.
Thank you.
Who's making the changes?
We tabled this resolution. It didn't pass today.
Because this is an ordinance to amend the water department in the borough of Elmwood Park. What does this have to do with?
Lenore, you know we tabled this this evening? Not to shut you down, but we tabled it. So,
Till when?
till when it's completed properly.
Okay.
All right?
Very good.
Okay.
Now, what actually brought me here is there are many more people driving in Elmwood Park, as you all well are aware of, that introduced all the stop signs on East 54th Street and every other place in town, which I don't have a problem with. What I'm seeing in this town is the aggressiveness of the drivers. Specifically, Chief, at the corner of Mola Boulevard and Molnar by the bar, you have a right-hand lane and you have a left-hand turn lane.
You're traveling west now,
You're going into
Passaic?
46, yeah. You're going into that way.
So we're traveling west on.
No, it's not west. West is, you're going from Route 4 to Route 46.
South.
Route 40, okay, you're making a
Okay.
left-hand turn, okay.
Okay,
You're
so
going south.
there's a right lane and there's a left-hand turn lane. What the people are doing is you have, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 cars waiting their turn to go straight. And you have an empty left-hand turn lane. And what I've seen multiple times or numerous times is somebody comes up in the left-hand turn lane and then they hit the gas and cut everybody off to get first to go under the bridge. Okay? There's been numerous accidents there, and it continues. For those who, over by the new Vietnam Memorial statue, there's been accidents because they're rushing to beat each other up. Now, what I've also seen is at the intersection of Market Street and the Boulevard, you have a right lane, a middle lane, and a left-hand turn lane. And you have the people that are going straight in the middle lane. Consequently, the people in the right lane are technically supposed to make a right-hand turn, but it's not marked right-hand turn only. And you have the people in the left lane. So you have the people in the middle lane who are going straight, but that right lane stops as soon as you cross over Market Street. Those people are jackrabbiting through there and then cutting everybody off. Last week, I had some guy come up, and he's riding alongside of me in front of the office building there on the corner. Of course, he hits somebody that's parked in front of him. Not that he didn't physically hit, he had to slow down, cut in the lane, and then he goes forward, goes back over to the curb, thinking that he can get in front of everybody. So can we make that right lane with a sign, right-hand turn only, so these people aren't causing accidents or being aggressive drivers? I mean, those are two incidents that I see all the time coming home.
Mike, do you see any fault in what she's saying? Recommending, I should say?
Well, first and foremost, it's a county-designed intersection, so any changes would have to be done by the county. It's a merge, so the right lane and the center lane are both permitted to go straight, or the right lane can turn right. And there's a sign that shows a lane merging. So the drivers just have to be more courteous to one another. I don't think the county will make that a right-only turn, because then you're going to just back up that other lane more. I'd have to have my traffic division study it first, and then if they felt it was a necessary change, then they would have to talk to the county, and the county would have to make the change.
Okay.
And what about the
If the
intersection?
council agrees. Like, we wouldn't request it from the county if we don't agree on that.
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure how it would work if it's the county's road. I have no idea.
I'm totally against making that a right turn only. That intersection has been done, what, how long, 7, 8 years? I've never heard of this before. And I'm sure, I don't know, you had statistics about more cars in Elmwood Park than ever before. I don't know what the data source is, but I have to venture there's, I don't know, 5,000 or more cars that successfully merge there every day. I mean, the statistical, when you take whatever fender benders were there versus how many cars pass through.
With all due respect, I live in Cherry Hill section. There are more cars coming in and out of Cherry Hill on Garvey Place and up Cadmus Avenue than you would care. If you want to go there, go sit there. You could see for
No, but you're,
yourself how many
as you
cars.
normally
I'm
do.
not going to argue with you.
You've made 5 statements
You're
tonight
always
with zero.
fighting me.
with-
You're
with-
always
no,
fighting
no,
me.
because,
I'm telling you
because
the
you're always
truth.
fighting the town, and the town doesn't see this
I'm
part
not
of it.
fighting you. I'm stating
You
facts.
are constantly harassing our borough employees, and it's important for people to watch that see.
You know what,
that
Mr.
see this part of
Golodak?
this.
It's
Yes.
the borough, the building code official
Right.
to
I'm not even talking about
to
that.
enforce
All I'm
the
saying is
ordinance
you
in the
came up with
resolution.
you came up with
Why do
no
I
facts.
have to call the police
You made a claim there's
department?
more cars than ever with no facts. You claim there was all sorts of accidents at this intersection. All sorts of I mean you come
what?
with
I
you
don't
come
even
with
wanna
no
talk to
facts.
you.
You demand action, but you have nothing to back
What
up
ab-
other than, I don't know.
What about the intersection on the Mola Boulevard and Molnar Drive, or Linden? There's 2 streets there. Chief?
That road has been repaved, and so much work has been done on that time, and no engineer at any time has changed the configuration of that intersection. And you're here, and we have to change it.
Mola Boulevard, Linden, and where they have the left-hand turn. They're going into the left-hand turn lane, and they're rabbit accelerating and cutting everybody off
So
on the
I can
right-hand
tell you
lane.
that it happens to me as a driver. I see
Okay,
it.
so,
So I
all
don't know
right.
how do you fix that, right? So they don't do it in front of marked police cars. They don't, right? So unless we set up a sting operation and I'm not being funny, I'm just being honest with you.
okay.
And I drive an unmarked police car, and I see violation after violation. If I was driving in the marked up unit, everybody's driving like an altar boy. It's just the way it works. So I feel you, and it happens to me too. I just don't know how we fix that with the population in Elmwood Park, daytime, excess of 40,000 with businesses and commuters with a police force of 50 cops. It's just, you can't do it. You just can't physically pay attention to every nitpicky, I'm not saying you are. It bothers me, and I'm the chief, and I live here, and I can't solve that problem because unless you have a platoon of guys that just go out there and target those infractions in unmarked cars and get them, you're just not going to do it. I'm just being honest.
Is there a sign there that says left lane for left-hand turn only?
I'll have to check. Left lane for left. I think it's marked on the,
It's
yeah,
marked on the-
probably.
It's marked on the
Yeah,
street,
yeah.
but,
They do it. They cut me off. I get it.
Okay.
I'm with you.
all right.
I wish we could, hire drones to give out tickets. That would be cool. Come up with that. I'll
Good.
support you.
they can circle over Milan Motors.
That's a good one.
Anyone else care to speak from the public? State your name and address, please, and keep it under 10 minutes if you don't mind.
Okay.
Thank you, dear.
I'm Doreen Fraga, Saddlebrook, New Jersey. I'm with Animal Protection League of New Jersey, and it was brought to our attention that 26 Canadian geese were rounded up on the property of Elmwood Park and gassed to death. Someone had granted permission to the USDA to allow them to come onto your property to kill the geese. So we had met with Tashawn Warren in 2021, and I did attend a mayor and council meeting. And at the time, he said that you had installed away with geese lights, used border collie dogs, and everything was non-lethal. So we're not really sure what had happened, what changed. And the city of Garfield was in the same situation. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. Was in the same situation. So we met with the mayor, we met with Councilwoman Banch, and we met with Mr. Golombek. So I think he's familiar with the situation, and they have become non-lethal. They denied access to the USDA, so the USDA cannot go on their property anymore to kill the geese. And I do have emails. I have the USDA report that says Elmwood Park gassed the geese. I have the ordinance from Bergen County that has the commissioners passed that do not allow any of the killing on any of the properties in Bergen County. So we were hoping that you would work with us to implement non-lethal solutions and deny access to the USDA to come onto your property to kill the geese.
You're saying we actually killed 29 geese?
26 geese.
26?
Here are the reports. Somebody has,
Mayor,
The USDA did.
I can shed a few words. I can brief, because I dealt with this in a neighboring municipality in my official role. The idea is Teterboro Airport partners with USDA to prevent bird strikes, and one of their methods allegedly is what Miss Friga, right?
yes.
What Ms. Friga is saying. So it's like the municipality signs a form allowing the Teterboro Airport to conduct activities, and then kind of, it's so I can talk more about my experience with this at another point, but that's the gist of it.
But you can deny access to Teterboro. Many towns have done it, many entities have done it, and you could use non-lethal methods. Like I said, the city of Garfield is one of them that have done that, and the mayor has denied access, and they've been that way for years, a couple of years now.
Right.
So, and I also spoke to Erin Delaney, and she said, yes, they have opted out of lethal, and they're not allowing the USDA on their property, and they're just remaining non-lethal. And I do have those emails here with me to show that. And this is a packet of information on non-lethal ways to move the geese out of the area. And we do work with an ecological landscape designer. She would come in, she would help you.
Let me interrupt you. If you have 9 ways to move the geese, why wasn't that implemented before they were killed?
We didn't know that they were killed. Like I said, we did meet with Tashawn Warren in 2021, and he said, no, there's no problem. And at that time, there was no reports of Elmwood Park gassing the geese, allowing the USDA on their property. So we didn't know that.
I see.
And I just recently found out this year when I received the FOIA reports from the federal government.
Can I just, is it possible that landowners that border the river are partnering with USDA and they're getting access that way? Is that something that occurs?
I don't know. It has to come from the municipality. I don't know, somebody in the municipality has granted access. The USDA will not just go on anybody's property and round up the geese and kill them.
No, what I'm saying is, access to the river, like, if I recall, and I could be off, I'm just saying this, but, there are throughout, right, Bergen County, massive corporations and businesses that happen
Right.
to border the river, and it is conceivable that it was through that means that they, like the report may credit that these geese, came out of Elmwood Park, were captured in Elmwood Park. does not necessarily mean it was because the borough sanctioned activity. Like, do you know that part for a fact?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you're saying the Borough of Elmwood Park gave permission
Yes,
off
somebody
of borough
did.
land, they,
You
they,
have that, excuse me, you have that in writing?
I have the report here, because this is a list of all the other entities that the USDA visits, that they only do nest destruction, egg addling. This is a list of all the different ones by Teterboro that they visit, and it only comes out to the Borough of Elmwood Park and a couple other entities down here that we are working with, and they are moving to deny access to the USDA.
Is there a name there that suggests they had, Elmwood Park gave permission?
There's no name, it just has the Borough of Elmwood Park.
So what's that mean?
But but USDA is not going to come onto somebody's property to kill the geese. They're not going to do that.
Well, to Daniel's point, maybe they came in through a different avenue.
like, we don't know I'm just saying, we don't know the answer. I mean, we could look into what you're saying, but I dealt with this, so if I'm saying
know.
this, something rings a bell, that we have large corporations down on the river that, in theory, they could privately partner and give access, and then we have nothing to say about it. So it's something we need to discuss, but I do want to
Yeah.
give my 2 cents to the council at another point about this.
But I do know, you were there at the
Yeah.
time of Garfield.
I know, but in Garfield, like, the entire Passaic River is municipal property, so it was like it's not the same dynamic as what I'm
Well,
telling you here.
anyway, the mayor did work with us, and
You know,
he
I
did
know.
cancel the USDA. He opted out of lethal. So, that's all that we're asking is that, because it's a horrific death.
I remember our
witnessed
visit
it.
down to the Dundee Dam.
Right, we went down there and we
Wasn't
had
it
our
was an interesting day.
ecological
It was an interesting
landscape-
day, wasn't it?
Yes, very interesting. And we had our ecological landscape designer there.
Right.
Let me suggest this. Let's let our attorney look into this, and then at our very next work meeting, we can discuss it.
Can I come back to the next meeting? Yeah, I do. I have the USDA report. I have the communication with Erin Delaney. I have the county ordinance where they will not gas any geese on property. And I have a packet of non-lethal information, different solutions that do work that,
Okay.
a
So-
lot of places are having
so
success with.
let's leave it like that, dear. We're all concerned. We don't want to see geese killed, all right? And especially if you have 9 ways. of
Well,
res-
no, there's more than 9 ways. There's a bunch of different. I just,
Okay, that's even
listed a
better.
few.
That gives us a way out in case the geese are in an area damaging something. If we can get rid of them without killing them, that's first on the list. Let our attorney
Okay.
look over your paperwork,
Okay,
and we'll bring that up at our next work meeting, which you're welcome to come to.
okay.
Our next work meeting.
The
which will
work
be on-
meeting? I have my card inside here.
What's the date?
And,
March 6th is our work meeting, right here.
our service is free of charge. So we would work with you.
Got to get in the microphone. I'm getting a little hard of hearing here.
And I just, could I say one other thing? Could I say one other thing, please?
Okay, we got to resolve in the works.
Okay, can I just say one other thing?
Just one.
Okay.
No, you can say 2.
So I don't want to be like graphic or anything, but I had witnessed a roundup of the geese. It's the most animal cruelty at the highest level. They put them in a gas chamber and they gas them to death, and it takes 45 minutes for their lungs to fill up with the gas that they give to them, and they wail, they cry, they moan. It has never left me. So that's why I fight so hard for them, because there's so many non-lethal ways to control the population that you do not need to put them in a gas chamber and gas them to death.
Well, you're absolutely right. That many ways of not having them killed available, they shouldn't really be killed.
And, another thing, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do this, but there were a couple of other entities in the Teterboro mix And Riverside Cemetery was one, Riverfront, I mean, there was a whole bunch of them. When we brought this to their attention, they stopped it. They had no idea that that's what was going on. They thought that the geese were being removed from the property. They had no idea that they were being put into a gas chamber and gas them to death. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay, all right, we get the picture.
I'm sorry.
And if, you're finished, right?
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
God, because you got a minute, otherwise a wire comes down and ejects you right out of the room.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you
No
at the
problem, dear.
workshop meeting.
No problem. Anyone else from the public here to speak on any subject whatsoever? If not, I will close the public portion. May I have a motion to enter into executive?
We don't have any.
We don't have any? No, we did it in the beginning, that's right. Anything else, my dear, that we have to cover?
No.
I like the way you did that, like you made it.
I didn't have my mic on, so I felt like I had to project.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good night. And we'll see you on the 6th, young lady, on the 6th.